Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch the interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me. Hello and welcome to a special interview for The Wire. On the day the Home Minister has called an all-party meeting to discuss the crisis in Manipur, we ask, what is life like for the suffering residents of the state? And more importantly, what steps would they like taken to handle the crisis? Those are the two key issues I shall discuss today with the General Secretary of the All Manipur Tribal Union, Lalboi Neihsial. Mr. Neihsial is also the Vice President of the World Kukis Intellectual Council. Mr. Neihsial, let me start with a simple question.
Right.
For over 50 days, Manipur has been on fire. Many people believe it's in danger of slipping into civil war. How do you view the situation in your home state? How pained, how anguished are you?
Yes. The situation in Manipur is so worse, I have to say. Till that, the central government doesn't interfere at all. So it is a great mayhem, chaos, and tribulation for the population, either both of the two, as the Métis as well as the Kuki. Seeing this perspective, I think that the central government should interfere as soon as possible. If not otherwise, just mood spectators and seeing the plight of the people at the both sides. It will not be good, because if this still continue on, many innocent lives will be losing. At the same time, many properties will be losing. And if Manipur is in turmoil, the centers should also have concern, because we are Indians. We are very part and much Indian. So they should not neglect us.
I'll come to the center and the role you want the center to play in a moment's time. Let me first try and get from you some sense of what is life like for the Kuki and the Naga. Now, your organization, the All Manipur Tribal Union, represents all the hill tribes of Manipur, the majority of which are the Kuki and the Naga. How would you describe the situation they face? What is life like for them at the moment?
Yes. We, all the Manipur Tribal Unions, is an organization mainly for the tribals in Manipur. Our theme is that to protect the tribals' inherited rights. So before the incidents happen, we used to get together and solve the problems of the tribal. We come across a lot of discrimination or a lot of hardship as the Manipur government tried to violate all the rights which is being given by constitutional right of Article 371C in terms of forest right, in terms of land laws, in terms of tribe demands. We are being attacked always.
That, in a sense, Mr. Neihsial, is well known. Tell me, at the moment today, 53 days or so after the troubles began, what is life like for Kukis and Nagas in the hill areas? What sort of suffering are they going through? Explain to the audience, what is it like to be a Kuki and a Naga living in Manipur today?
The Kukis and Nagas, we live in peace. We are brothers. And to the Nagas, as they are not being disturbed, they are remaining calm and quiet. And morally, they are so much in attach with us. Whereas with the Kukis, daily we are being attacked and on fire. For self-defense, we are doing our best possible way. And life is very miserable at this moment.
Do people have electricity? Do they have water?
Water, it is scarcity. And electricity, sometimes it is very hard. When sometimes they used to cut off electricity as nothing to hide, it is very, very tough our life.
What
no
about
internet,
food? What
no,
about-
no proper electricity, and no facilities at all because we are cut off from the main town, from the capital.
What about food? What about gas? Is there cooking gas? Are food stuffs easily available?
Of course, we can find it taking the line from Mizoram, but the price of the cooking gas and other essential needs are getting so high now, and most of the people feel hurt.
Are you saying to
get
me
in.
that essential food items come from Mizoram, not from within Manipur, but they come to the Kuki areas from Mizoram?
Yeah, it comes from Mizoram to the Kuki areas, as we are being totally obstructed from Kangbai, that is the border area between the Métis and the Kuki, and we are not supposed to cross that border, and they are not supposed to cross that border because then the border, the two volunteers are standing there.
So Mizoram has become a lifeline for the Kuki areas.
Of course, as of now.
Now, you're a devout Christian. You told me that yourself. 6 days ago, the Archbishop of Imphal, speaking to the Indian Express on the 18th, said that 249 Meitei churches in the valley had been destroyed. He
Right.
said this was clearly direct targeting because most people would not have known that these were churches. Are you worried that behind the cover of an ethnic conflict, the troubles are taking over religious overtones?
I don't think that it is appropriate attacking a church because we, the Kuki tribals, never touch the mandir, never touch the structures of any religious structures. But simply they come and attack the church and they burn down all the churches.
Who is the they? Who are you accusing of attacking churches and burning them down?
The burning of the church happened with this Arambai Tengo and Meitei Lipun. They wear the t-shirt that is black color, and with their t-shirt, they hold a flag called Sarai Taret. Moment when they are attacking the church, at the top of the cross, they put and hang Sarai Taret, that is the Meitei flag. So that is their behavior.
So you're accusing the Meitei Lipon and the Arambai Tengol of attacking churches.
Exactly. They are the one who attack us.
Do you suspect that there are Hindutva groups involved behind these attacks? Is there an attempt being made to make this a Hindu versus Christian conflict behind the cover of an ethnic conflict?
Not at all. I don't believe that the Hindu, Va, or rest of the others are participating. These peoples are being formed by the head of the state, I have to say. To mention it, it is one of our CM. And the other one is Sanazaba Leishemba, the MPs.
So you're saying this is being done by the Arambai Tengol and the Meitei Lipon and that there are no Hindutva groups behind them or supporting them?
Yeah, no Hindutva group is involved here. It
I
is
should-
purely Aramba Tengols and Meitei Lipun. They come and attack us because they are well trained. Before the incidents happen, they are being given the training of arts of warfare, gun shooting, this and that. And these people are mainly targeting, I don't know, the church. The church have nothing to do along with their aims and
You're
object.
a Kuki. You have accused the Arambai Tengol and the Meitei Lipon of attacking churches. I have to tell you that there are also reports made by the Meiteis of the Kukis attacking both Sanamahi and Hindu religious places. Are you doing the same thing in return and in retaliation?
To my knowledge, as of now, I never heard and seen the Kukis are attacking any religious structures of the Meitei.
What do you mean, to my knowledge? That's a very clever way of answering. Is it to say that you don't know, or you haven't bothered to find out, or that you haven't any idea? Because the Meiteis have made this accusation the other way around as well. I have to point that out.
I'm living in Churchampur, and the mandir, we never ever touch them. We never go them. We never touch them. We never torch them. We never break them. We are very clean, I have to say. Not only that, I'm a man who believes in what? Universal brotherhood, love, peace, and unity only. I have one group also that is called Universal Liberation Voice. Here I put all the peoples around the whole world. Some of my
Can I
team.
interrupt? You say you believe in universal love, universal brotherhood. Does that apply to only Kukis? Does it apply to Kukis and Nagas? Or does it apply to Meiteis as well?
To everybody around the whole world. I have a
No,
friend
but
from,
does it apply to Meiteis as well? I'm specifically asking you that.
my dear, I'm very good and kind to the Métis. The days when it is being attacked, one of the place called Christian Laikai, the Métis are being there, and I just asked the Métis to get into the nearest chief house. I give a shelter. On the next day when the convoy came, they are safe. And one of the old women is being left behind. The rest of the other family run away.
So you have been
And
protecting them.
I'm protecting them. I call the woman flock to clean her and to give food, and I'm just giving the shelter. Then she's being safely
Okay.
getting together with the family.
Let's then move one step further in our discussion. So far, we've been talking about what life is like for the Kuki and the Nagas. Those are the people that your organization, the All Manipur Tribal Union, primarily represents. Let's now talk about the way in which the situation, the crisis has been handled over the last 50 days. And let's start with Chief Minister Biren Singh. He is still technically Chief Minister, even if he is no longer head of the Unified Command. That job has been handed over to Kuldeep Singh. In your eyes, in your estimation, how has Biren Singh handled the crisis over the last 50 days?
I'm not satisfied with his management, with his administration. Everything is in the nose of his own eyes. Things are happening. Why, without the knowledge of the government, without the knowledge of the CM, Arambay Tengol and Meitilipun freely can enter and loot all the guns in the police training centers. And all the police stations are being looted, all the guns and ammunitions. All these are in the eyes of the government. And I don't think that the guard of the stage, the CM, is taking steps at all.
Let me ask you this. You said the CM is not taking the proper steps at all. You began by saying, I'm not satisfied with his handling. What is the problem? Is he incompetent? Does he lack the skills to handle the crisis? Or is he one-sided, which is a different thing? Is he therefore siding with the Meitei against the Kuki? Which of the two? Incompetent or prejudiced and one-sided?
Both of the two. He is incompetent. He has no skills of administering. At the same time, he is very anti-tribals. Whatever he has done in the assembly, like in forest issue, in wetland and peripheral act, in tribe demands, and in land laws and land rights, whatever he did is not for the in favors of the tribals. It is only means for grabbing the lands of the tribal Kukis in the hills.
In May, all 7 Kuki MLAs of the BJP, those are his fellow party men, made it very clear that they have lost faith in Biren Singh because they called publicly for a separate administration. In June, in fact, just a few days ago, 8 this time Meitei MLAs of the BJP have handed over a memorandum to the Prime Minister's office which says the public have lost complete faith in the present government. That means since the trouble began, 7 Kuki MLAs and 8 Meitei MLAs, 15 people in all members of the BJP have lost faith in their own chief minister. In those circumstances, should Biren Singh be dismissed, and is it time for president's rule?
The right time is imposing president rule. If not otherwise, things will be more escalating because the head of the state is not competent. He has no administrative skill. And nobody has a trust in him. He has a trust deficit. Not only the Kukis MLAs, even the Meiteis MLAs who are in BJP have no trust anymore. So the CM should be removed, president rules should be imposed, and the base will be given a separate administration to the Kukis.
I'll come to separate administration later.
Okay.
Let's first concentrate on the short-term immediate steps to restore law and order and to end the violence. You're saying remove the chief minister,
Okay.
impose president's rule. That takes me directly to the role of the central government. Only Mr. Modi and Amit Shah, the Home Minister, can remove Biren Singh. Only they can impose president's rule. They are aware that almost 50% of BJP MLAs, 15 in all, 7 Kuki, 8 Meitei, have publicly expressed no confidence in the chief minister. And yet, Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah refuse to remove Biren Singh. They are adamant about keeping him there. How do you explain that to yourself? Why is the centre insisting on retaining Biren Singh?
They want to have a stake in BJP government under the leadership of Biren Singh, but that will not be appropriate. If they want to put the stakehold of BJP in Manipur, they should change the guard, because
But
he
they're
has
refusing to. Why do you think they're refusing to change Biren Singh?
Biren Singh, he has a good rapport in the last elections, by hook or by crook, by using these capturing systems during elections.
Are you suggesting that the Home Minister and the Prime Minister have a debt that they owe Biren Singh? They are grateful that he brought them to power in Manipur both 5 years ago and again now, and therefore they can't remove him? Is that the reason? Is that the hesitation?
That is the main reason. But still, then I have to say that the Prime Minister as well as the Home Ministers, it is a time they have to wake up. If these things still prevail, the image of the BJP will be totally zero in Manipur.
Let's talk about the Prime Minister. He heads the government. For 50 days, he hasn't said a word, not a single word about Manipur. In that time, he has delivered 2 Man Ki Baat speeches. In the most recent one, a week ago, he spoke about the cyclone in Gujarat. The much greater tragedy happening in Manipur was something he completely ignored. As a result, the well-known playwright Ratan Thiam said to me last week, sitting exactly where you are, he says the Prime Minister has turned his back on Manipur. He doesn't care. What's your feeling of the Prime Minister's attitude?
The Prime Minister is one of the head of the nation. He has to see all the welfare of the people. This time, as the Manipur boys, why he have given a DVS to us? That is very, very inappropriate. He has to speak it out, and he has to interfere. If not other ways, the stage will be boiling. The image of the BJP will be totally lost. And I don't believe in the system of governing the central government. They should impose president rule, and they have to interfere in states of fear.
Can I put it like that, Mr. Neihsial? You're saying the Prime Minister has turned a deaf ear to Manipur. He's also turned a blind eye to Manipur.
Exactly.
But the truth is, this Prime Minister is one of the most popular Prime Ministers we have ever had. He's one of the most powerful Prime Ministers we've ever had. He has the capacity to do whatever he wants because he has the whole party behind him. And yet, he's not using those powerful attributes to sort out Manipur. How do you explain that to yourself? He has the power, he has the popularity. Why isn't he using it? How do you explain that to yourself?
I don't think that is appropriate. Suppose you are a father, you have 3 children. If you look after only one of your children and give all the facilities, going to schools and having education, but two of them are left behind, do you think that you will be the right person? Will be a responsible father? No, not at all. Modi ji should know that he have to take care of the tribals and the Meitei together wholeheartedly, because we are one of his subjects also. If they left behind us, and if he care only the Meiteis, that is not appropriate. So we are all the subject. He have to govern and regulate and see all the plights of the peoples, irrespective of the hills or the tribals.
Let's take your metaphor of Modi as father one step further. Are you saying he's treating the Kuki as stepchildren?
As a stepchildren, as anti-tribal, and neglecting us, and it is very painful for the Kuki populations.
Are you saying that he's siding with and favoring the Meitei?
Not in that way, but he did not do enough to maintain peace and harmony in Manipur. If he interferes and do the work, it will be a matter of 1 or 2 days for him.
If he is treating the Kuki as stepchildren, do you feel let down by your father?
Exactly that we are facing. We are being treated as a stepmother child, and we have unconcerned for, and the centers never voiced it till today. Still today, we are facing a lot of hardship. See, if your house is being burned down and your property is burned down and you left nothing behind, you are residing in one of the relief camp, having nothing, no futures, where you have to die. How much mayhem, chaos, and hardship you are facing?
So what
your life will be full of agony, pains, and misery. He should be having empathy on the peoples of the plight.
What you're saying is that as Prime Minister Modi is like a father, but he's treating the Kuki like stepchildren. Isn't that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay. Against that background, let's come to the critical steps that are necessary to tackle the crisis. Perhaps the most important is to restore law and order and end the violence. What do you think the central government should do?
The central government should impose president rule, first of all.
After that?
Second of all, they have to remove the chains of guard. And thirdly,
what do you mean change the guard?
Chains of guard means removing the CM who is incompetent, who is a puppet of
I understand. When you declare president's rule, Biren Singh will automatically go. What is the next step?
The next step should be given a total separate administration, because we are already being separated physically, geographically, and politically. We are totally separated, whether we like or we don't. They already chase out from the capital. All the houses are burned. We have no colonies anymore, and we are totally separated now. So geographically, as we are already separated, the best thing is that we are not having a guts to go enter to Infalveri anymore, because if we were there, they have to kill us. I don't know, these native previously, they are very decent, I think so. But as of now, their mentality are very cruel. They are being brainwashed. They are being imbibed, instigated.
You're saying to me that there is no way the Kuki and the Meitei can live together in one unified administration?
No way at all. The base mean is that the Kukis should be given a separate administration. If not otherwise, we have to fight till our last breath.
Let me try and clarify this for the audience, because this is a very important point you're making. You're saying the first thing is declare president's rule. The second thing is separate administration for the Kukis. It's that separate administration I want to understand. Is that your preferred first solution? Or is it the last resort after attempts have been made to build trust and to rectify the situation? Which is it? First preferred option or the last resort?
First preferred option. If a separate administration is given to the Kukis, there will be no boiling, there will be no firing, there will be no misunderstanding. Everything will be subsided and the final solutions will be there.
Then let me try and understand, what do you mean by separate administration? Are you talking about a separate state? Are you talking about a union territory? Or are you talking about something that was being negotiated between the Kuki groups and the Nagas as well, and the Modi government, which is autonomous territorial councils with powers like the Bodoland Council? Which of the three do you mean?
What I mean is that at the first instant, 10 MLS demanded state. So it could be state within state, if not otherwise, at least.
What do you mean state within state? Is that a territorial autonomous council?
A statehood, a total statehood. If that is not possible, union territory with legislatures, that is what we demand.
What about autonomous territorial council?
Rest of the others has no meaning for us, because if we have no political safeguard, the Meitei will do this and that, they will turn this and that, because all the funds coming from the centers are being eaten away. They have many universities, 5 universities are placed in Infal, and they have medical, they have engineering, they have agriculture, they have all the facilities, but in
I
the hills we have nothing.
Let's not get lost in what they have and what you don't have. Let's try and clarify what you mean by separate administration. I want to point out to you that until the trouble began, the Modi government and the Kukis and the Nagas had come very close to reaching agreement on autonomous territorial councils, probably with the implementation of the 6th schedule of the constitution, which at the moment does not apply to Manipur. That would have been made applicable as well. And the situation would have been very similar to the autonomy Bodoland has. That was considered acceptable by the Kukis until the trouble began. Are you saying to me it's no longer acceptable? That door is now closed.
See, the Sioux group doesn't accept anymore that one. So after the moment when there is a tumor and incidents happen, the Sioux group also demand that UT with legislatures. The same, the public will follow it suit. So as of now, what we need is a separation with union territories with legislature. That is what we demand.
So the door on autonomous territorial councils is closed. That chapter is now history. What does who mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It is history. Then let me put this to you. There will be enormous Meitei resistance against either creating a separate union territory or a state. How do you think that should be handled? Because they are very unwilling to see their state get fractured. How should Meitei resistance to your demand for a separate administration be handled?
Of course, Meitei will resist us. They will hinder us. But the thing is that we are not going back anymore, no return anymore, because so long as we are being together with them, nothing will be left for us. Even they are demanding tribes in order to grab our land, in order to grab our quarters, in order to get our job quarters, everything they want to have in their hand.
So living with the Meitei in one united state is over. What does who mean? What does that mean? Yes or no?
Yes. We are not going back anymore with the administrations of the Manipur state government. Let me put you a problem.
If the center were to agree either to a separate union territory for the Kuki or a state, and I think a state is very unlikely.
Right.
If they were to agree to a separate union territory, the Nagas, which are 24% of the population of Manipur, would insist on their much older demand for merging with Nagaland. That's a very old demand.
All right.
It's a demand that the NSCN has been pursuing ever since they began talks with the union government. And the center would have to give in to the Nagas as well. They can't just give in to the Kukis. In which case, Manipur would be literally reduced to the valley. That's all there would be left.
There is not a big issue and a big question.
It is for the Meitei.
To the Meitei, they will do this and that, but internally with the tribals, so much brotherhood. We have a good rapport.
Oh, you didn't have a great rapport with the Nagas in the 90s, let's be honest, come on.
But
You
that
know
chapter
that.
has been finished. Here in our
But you're
organization,
not answering my question, Mr. Neihsial. If the center were to grant the Kukis a union territory, how can they refuse the Nagas a much older demand for merger with Nagaland? They have to do it. They can't be one-sided.
that is the job of the centers. We don't bother about that
But
one.
you may not bother about it, but it's a problem the center faces. If they give you union territory status, they cannot deny the Naga demand, which is an older demand for merging with Nagaland. And if they have to grant that as well, they will have fractured Manipur. All that will be left is the valley.
So what is the big issue in it? Naga should be given their own place, and Kukis should be given our own place. See, in the states of Meghalaya, they have Zantia Hills, they have Garo Hills, they have Khasi Hills.
But all within
So
one
they
United
can
States.
live- they
But
can
hang
live
on,
with peace
hang
and
on.
harmony.
Yes, but all within one United State. You are not willing to be part of the same state as the Meitei. If you go back to the concept of autonomous territorial councils, possibly with Schedule 6 of the Constitution applying, which doesn't apply at the moment, then you could claim this is like Meghalaya. But you're not talking of a situation like Meghalaya, you're talking about fracturing Manipur into three, which is very different.
But still, they have a lot of geographical land, like Bishnupur, Thobal, Imphal.
It's 10% of the present state of Manipur what the Meiteis have. You're reducing them to just that.
But still it is big enough, they can govern themselves, they're capable, they can coop it up.
Why can't you mentioned Meghalaya yourself, I didn't bring it up. Why can't you adopt the Meghalaya model for Manipur? Autonomous territorial councils with the 6th schedule, which makes it a much more guaranteed system, so that in a very real sense, the Kukis are responsible for their life, the Nagas for their life, and the Meiteis in the valley for themselves. But you still remain part of one united state. Why can't you agree to that?
Frankly speaking, sir, that is not possible, to my assumption. Because until and unless under the hands and under the controls of the state government of Manipur, nothing will be given to us, and there will be still a tumor. There will be still misunderstanding, and we will not be happy because all the state funds come for the scheduled tribes, and all the privilege that we have to get from the central government are always being hindered, and they are always eaten up away.
You know what you're saying? And this, I think, lies at the bottom of your determination that you cannot live in a united state with the Meitei. It is the complete collapse of trust. That is the problem. And I want to ask you this. Can the trust that has disappeared be rebuilt between the Meitei and the Kuki?
Not at all. I don't believe anymore, because after these peoples are not a human being, I have to say. They do not spare even a child, even a woman, even the disabled person also. They slay, they kill, they rape. How can we live together with animals? We want to live together with peace and harmony.
You're calling
with
the
peoples.
Meitei animals.
The behaviors are animalisms. They have no decency. They have no sympathy. They have no love of human being. They do not respect even humanity.
I don't want you to go further down the road of calling fellow Indian citizens animals and saying they have no decency. That is no doubt how you feel, and it's right that you should at least once reflect how you feel. But let's not go down that road too far. Let me put something else to you. On Monday, again sitting precisely where you are, was the well-known and highly regarded playwright Ratan Thiam. He said, a process of truth and reconciliation, where the two communities, the Meitei and the Kuki, talk to each other, accept each other's mistakes, ask each other for forgiveness, that process can build trust. It can lead to reconciliation. And he added, he was willing to try and initiate it. Are you willing to go down that route, at least attempt it?
I don't believe in the system anymore, sir, in that way. Unless we are given a separate administrations from unless we are separated from the Manipur administration, we are not going back anymore, because what we come across...
truth and reconciliation cannot work between the Kuki and the Meitei. That's what you're saying?
Exactly. I don't believe anymore, because after coming across this much of tribulation, destructions, totally cut off from them, how can we build a trust with them?
So you're saying to me that the only satisfactory resolution that will restore peace and end the violence is a separation.
That's true. That's the only way we have now. And we have to stand until our last breath with that one only.
So what you're saying to Mr. Modi and to Mr. Amit Shah, the Kuki and the Meitei cannot live happily together. But if you separate us, we can live happily as neighbors. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. So I would like to appeal to the central government, to our Prime Minister, Honorable Modi ji, as well as our Home Minister. The first thing they have to do is that they have to impose a president rule. Then and there, we should be separated from the Meitei government so that we can live peace and harmony as a good neighbor. That is what I am appealing to them.
And what do you say to the Meitei who will say, if the Kukis live separately, the Nagas want to live separately with Nagaland, that will happen, and Manipur will be reduced just to the valley. And remember, the valley is only 10% of the state. From the Meitei point of view, the solution is a disaster. It is the one solution you want But from the Meitei point of view, it's a disaster. How do you convince them to accept a disaster?
Then why they chase out, why they kill us, why they have no mind to accommodate us? If they say
Why
that,
not try to live together again? Why not go down the road of truth and reconciliation, accept each other's mistakes, forgive each other, allow Ratan Theam, because he's highly respected by the Kukis and the Meitei, right? Allow him to attempt to bring people together. Try that at least once before you demand separate administration.
my dear, how can we believe the people who already killed, who already tortured, who already disintegrate us, who already throw a bones, who always play a role of divide and rule between our brothers, Nagas and Kukis. We don't like divide and rules. We don't like any outside interference. With the Kukis and Nagas, we can live peace together unless outsiders are interfering.
Okay, Mr. Neihsial, I think the message you're putting across is crystal clear. We can never get back and live together.
Exactly.
There is no use even trying a process of truth and reconciliation.
No
it can never
way
succeed.
at all. No way at all.
Separate administration is the only lasting solution. We cannot live happily together, but we will be able to live happily as neighbors. Is that
I
right?
have a good friends among the Meiteis. We are very close. Till that also they call me, how is your situation, how is your condition, do you need eat fooding or this and that. But doesn't mean that they can save me if I enter to Infal. If the mobs come and kill me, what shall they do?
Okay.
Life is not secure. We are not going back anymore. We cannot go and live together people who kill us. How can we trust upon them? So negotiating, coming of peace and living together
Is over.
Those are totally over. We
Okay.
can't really trust upon to them anymore.
Mr. Neihsial, you have been crystal clear. I thank you for having come and explained the position.
All right.
It's a sad note on which we end, because what you said is that the Meitei and the Kuki can never live together. The best is we can live happily but apart. That is the reality you want the country to accept. I thank you for your honesty. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, I'm Karan Thapar. Over the last few years, I hope you've been watching my program, The Interview on the Wire. During that period, I've interviewed doctors, politicians, businessmen, scientists, authors, and even the occasional Nobel laureate. For me, it's been exciting. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. But these, as you know, are tough times, and if this program is going to remain bold, independent, and sometimes even defiant, then I think we need your support. At the end of the day, it's a truism, but editorial independence is best defended by the viewers. So if you would like this program to remain the way it is, forthright, outspoken, and interesting, then would you consider supporting us? All you have to do is to click on the description at the bottom. But more than anything else, I hope you will continue to watch The Interview. Your viewership means an awful lot to me.